Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Senior Cat Wellness. If you are wondering why your cat perhaps suddenly has turned into an anti-touch feline, you are very much in the right place. One day they're snuggling in your lap, purring away, and the next they're hissing, swatting, or just walking off like you have completely offended them. So, what exactly has happened? What has transpired? Well, today we're going to break down exactly what has happened, and why your cat suddenly hates being touched, and what you can do to fix it. First off, it's important to get one thing understood. Cats, they don't just decide to dislike affection out of just nowhere, the clear blue nowhere. When their behavior suddenly changes, it's usually their way of communicating that something is wrong, perhaps very wrong. The tricky part, of course, is figuring out what that something really is. We'll start off with one of the most common reasons, and that unfortunately is pain and discomfort. Cats are masters of hiding their pain, but often they'll show it in subtle ways, and that'll sort of present itself in subtle changes in their behavior. If your cat suddenly flinches and growls and avoids your touch altogether, it could mean they're experiencing pain in a specific area of the body, or generally, if say from arthritis, even a pulled muscle, something's going on with their teeth, a dental issue, or it could be an internal problem that you just can't see, unfortunately. So try to pay attention to where physically, if there's a certain spot on the body, they react when you do touch them, and if that is consistent, or they're showing signs, other signs such as hiding away, or maybe limping, favoring a leg, or overall lethargy, or just eating less, it is of course at that time certainly time to make a vet visit. Next up, the second big reason is stress and anxiety. Cats, they thrive on routine, those creatures of habit, but even small changes can throw them off in a big way. If you've moved furniture around the house, brought in a new pet, too many house guests, perhaps, total strangers. Maybe you've changed your schedule, taken on a new job, or changed hours at your job. Maybe you're even something, the smells are off. You've introduced new fragrances and cleaning products, even air fresheners. Something so simple could be something very big to them. So these little disruptions, sometimes honestly big or small, at least to you, can make a big difference, make your cat feel very anxious and unsafe and perhaps even overly stimulated mentally, leading to them to withdraw from your physical affection until they exactly get a handle on what's going on in their world. So try to identify what's new in the home or a noticeable change that you've made in your daily routine compared to how things used to be. Give your cat a quiet space where they can retreat to sort of get away from this new situation, let's call it, a sort of a little bit of a safe zone with their toys in bed and litter box, even food and water if things are sort of getting really bad, if they're really on edge. Try as much as you can to keep things calm and predictable and avoid just forcing the touch. When they're ready for those good pets, they'll let you know and they'll come over toward you. Let them do things on their terms. Once they feel secure, they'll be likely to become more affectionate once again. Next up, and I sort of just mentioned on it when I talked about being overstimulated mentally, overstimulation just in general. Now, believe it or not, cats that even though they do love being petted, they can reach the point of where it becomes just a bit too much to handle. You might notice signs such as those ears get back, sort of pinned back look, the tail starts twitching, or maybe a rippling of the skin along their back or the base of their tail. These are all their ways of saying, "Hey, I've just had about enough of this." So when you don't stop and they're giving you the signals, they could either jump down, which is what you would actually hope for compared to the other alternatives, because they could swat at you with the claws out, and they could even bite you. So the solutions here is learning your cat's boundaries. Some cats only like short petting sessions. They want that affection, but there's a clock. It's almost like sands through the hourglass. Or specific areas they approve of and don't approve of. Most cats enjoy that chin and the cheeks, around the whiskers, but sensitive areas like the belly or that base of the tail, your cat could like that too, but other cats, various cats, their own personalities, they have their own areas that are sort of off limits. So respecting their boundaries, that'll grow the trust and grow the bond, and they'll feel safer with them, petting them, compared to not knowing what to expect and perhaps getting a little anxious and overstimulated. Another reason, let's talk about a medical situation. Perhaps the hormones are changing. Your cat is getting older, senior cat wellness. They might be dealing with arthritis, the dental pain, some of the things that I mentioned earlier, makes them a lot more sensitive to just touch in general. And even younger felines, they can experience changes from things such as infections or allergies. If you've ruled out that it's stress, if there's really nothing going on and it has nothing to do with anything external, it's worth getting in touch with your vet to check out to make sure there's nothing going on internal, no underlying medical situation, medical issue. There's also, I sometimes refer to it on the channel as past negative associations, but past trauma, negative associations, whatever sort of label you want to apply. But if something has startled your cat, potentially even hurt your cat while being petted in the past, perhaps one day you meant well and you accidentally touched a spot that they had a little bit of a scratch on, or anything that was uncomfortable and certainly unappealing. Or, I don't know, maybe you were petting your cat and somebody next door made a loud sound on their patio. So they associate the petting with that loud noise and a negative experience. So they now might associate, unfortunately, your affection, those cuddle sessions, with a tinge of fear. Your best approach here is just patience. Uh, Go slow with your hand if you're petting your cat, speak softly, and it's basically letting your cat rebuild that trust. Well, once you have a cuddle session, a petting session with them, and everything goes fine, and your cat enjoys it, and they do it the next day and the next day, the next day, eventually enough repetitions of good things from a petting session will change that negative association into a positive, and they'll forget that time that they were scared many, many months ago. And finally, above all, remember that all cats, just like us, not only do they have their own personality, but they have their own moods. It could shift from day to day, even from a few hours to a few hours after that. And of course, they have their own preferences. Some days they're just more social than others, and some days they want you, and other days they want their space. So this doesn't mean their overall feelings towards you have changed. It's just, as we would say, hey, it's just a case of the Mondays, right? Or just one of those days. So overall, just to recap, sudden dislike of touch usually comes down to just a handful of things. We're talking pain and discomfort, some level of stress and anxiety, overstimulation, medical changes, pain from arthritis or a sickness, just a medical issue, and emotional associations, that negative experiences that I mentioned earlier. The key here overall is just to observe your cat closely. And if you know your cat's personality and you know their baseline, you can tell when something has deviated from what would be considered a normal time or a normal day. So make small adjustments accordingly if you know that it's not a health issue. If health issues have been ruled out, search the environment. Pay close attention to the smallest things, the most subtle things, because in your cat's world, hey, that could be that one big thing that's causing the whole issue of maybe pulling away from your affection. When you understand just why your cat is acting in a different way, you can respond positively in a way that can help them feel secure and safe again. And that is, of course, when everything will resume. We're back to green flag racing. Those cuddle sessions can begin, and they can begin, of course, with confidence. To the wonderful audience of Senior Cat Wellness, what are your thoughts? Any personal stories to share? Have you had or are you having currently a difficult time really petting your cat because of perhaps a variety of reasons? Simply just because right now, for whatever reason, they won't let you. That comment section, of course, it's all yours. If you found this video helpful and informative, please give it a like, share it out, and subscribe to us right here at Senior Cat Wellness. Until next time, we will talk to you later.